Yo, what's up, everybody? It's B Doll again, and welcome to my AEW Revolution review, Los Angeles, California, at the Staples Center. Obviously, we got a lot to cover here today. When it comes to AEW pay-per-views, you know how exactly long this is going to go. And this show, if you count the pre-show, went almost about 5.5 to 6 hours. So let's get right into it, shall we? Now, I did watch some of the pre-show, so I'm going to go over it as best as I can. I probably missed the first match, but then again, it looks like I didn't miss that much. But let's get right into it, shall we? We did kick it off with Big Boom, AJ, and QT Marshall. They love bringing back these Costco guys, and somehow they make it onto a lot of these pre-shows for AEW, but I guess they are from, I think they're around LA, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, but they keep bringing them in. They went against Shane Taylor Promotions, going against the infantry of Sean Dean and Carly Bravo. I don't have much to say about this. I didn't watch much of this match. I know Boom and Doom won, Big Boom, AJ, and them. And I know they had the Rizzler and the Big Justice, basically the kid that rubs his chin and all that stuff. So they end up getting involved. I think the Big Justice kid speared one of the guys. Like I said, the Costco guys won, so not much I can say, and the people bought into it. Next was the TBS title on the line. This is kind of one of the reasons why I did watch the pre-show, given that Willow was working double duty tonight of defending the TBS title and the tag team titles. You know, me personally, I think they should have put the TBS title on the main show and then the tag titles on the pre-show. Let it kind of backwards, but I guess they wanted to play up into Willow's shoulder within this match, because I've never seen Lena Cross before other than them bringing her into Australia. She's pretty good, I'll say that. I think it was a solid match. I'm not surprised Willow won. Willow did end up winning, dodge her jackhammer, powerbomb finisher and whatnot, which Willow ended up, switching to a backslide. So, like I said, they had her shoulder damage. So obviously that was going to play on later into the night when she was going to be back out to defend the tag titles. But we'll get back into that a little bit later on. But I feel like the tag titles probably should have went first, then the TBS title. But we already know what was going to happen later on. And in the final pre-show match, which obviously goes to the main show, was a Blackjack Battle Royale for the AEW National Championship. So Ricochet had to defend his title in a Battle Royale. I'm going to be honest, I feel like I see more of Ricochet do crazy and say crazy stuff on Twitter recently about laying pipes and all that. If you don't get what I mean, I'll go look up the tweets of him and Samantha Irvin. But I'm going to be honest, I forget this guy even had this championship. The only person he's really feuded is with Jack Perry. And I'll tell you right now, once again, I have not paid much attention to it other than what they've had on Dynamite. I don't know what goes on Collision with this. Then again, I feel like with a lot of these matches on the card, a lot of this was on Collision with a lot of these feuds. So I didn't even know they were even on this card, because when it comes to these AEW pay-per-views, they really do add a lot of matches at the last second too. But going into this Battle Royale, I thought it was a casino Battle Royale, but this is a regular Blackjack Battle Royale. So, which is still funny, this title looks like the NWA TV title, if I'm not mistaken. Like, both belts literally look the same, okay? They really do. It's just got a different logo on them. Listen, a lot of people was in this match, which people you probably barely even see on TV right now, which even I kind of forgot what was around, but we had Juice Robinson, I guess he's not hurt anymore, Austin Gunn, Ace Austin, Shibata, Hook, Anthony Bowens. And I don't know what's against Collision, so I guess Bowens is trying to join the ops now since they're looking for recruits. Scorpio Sky, which he's from LA, Roosh and the LFI guys, Daniel Garcia, Roppongi Vice. For some odd reason, Tommaso Ciampa is in this match. Even though his booking is crazy to me. It's like I thought he was still going after the TNT title, but he was a face when he came in. He won the title, lost the title a couple weeks later. Then he turned heel on Mark Briscoe, but somehow he's in this match. I have no idea why. Leo Rush, who is bald now for some reason. Johnny TV, John Morrison, I heard he was bald given it was a recent match, I think, in Mexico. So I know about that. Everybody's going bald now, it looks like now. I'd play the song, but it'd probably give me copyrighted. But bald nigga, bald nigga, bald nigga, bald nigga. Trust me, it was a lot of bald guys in this match. But I'm gonna be honest. Obviously, there was a lot of spots going on in this match that I couldn't really keep up with this. Once again, I don't really care much about this TNT title. I know Garcia taking off Commander's mask, and you got the LFI members trying to throw people out. They got the lawyer with them, the Beast Muerto. So they probably got a case, if you get what I mean. I know like Juice Robinson ended up throwing out Roosh, Ciampa. I think he was like one of the final people in this match. Which, by the way, once this match transferred to the main show, they do that whole thing now where it's like once they go into the main show, they play the pyro during the match. It looks like they keep doing that now. I'll probably a one-time thing, but they keep doing it. It ended up leading into Ricochet and Jack Perry, since these are the only two people feuding for this title, so this does make sense here. Like I said, so like they're the final ones in this battle royale. Hell, they already had Jack Perry get off a bus and all that stuff, but Jack Perry ended up winning this national title. I'll be honest, I don't really care. Like I said, it is what it is, and I couldn't even track all the eliminations here and there. So it was a lot of stuff going on. It was like guys I kind of forgot even still worked in this company, to be honest. I haven't seen in so long. They just happened to be in this. So yeah, Jack Perry won this title. I don't know where this really goes on. Yeah, I'll give Ricochet one thing. They gave it to him, I guess, for all he's done in AEW, but did they really have to make up another title just to give him something? I don't know. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But we actually go to the main show now, which the first match we do kick it off with is the Young Bucks versus FTR for the AEW Tag Team titles. The Young Bucks, being from California, basically had their whole family out there, basically having their kids, basically dresses them and come out doing their entrance and stuff, and like their parents and everybody else is at ringside. You have FTR coming out there, which Boston Celtics colors. Of course, you got the idiot referee Rick Knox, which, let's be honest, it's just going to become a tornado tag every time he's literally the referee of anything, especially the Young Bucks. So you know exactly how this is going to go. And honestly, I actually did enjoy this match. Yes, we can call a lot of Young Bucks matches spot fest, and when you've seen one, you've seen them all. Last Wednesday really cleared that. I think there was a little bit more here. Obviously, some story going into this. And actually, I was actually surprised who won this match, too. So let's gotta get into that. Yeah, though, like, as the match did continue on, though, I know, like, one of the Bucks, I think it was Nick, he ended up going into, like, I think his head hit the broadcast table. I know he tried to, like, a flip and everything, like, to a dive. He hit, like, the, announce table, and then he got dumped in, like, to the timekeeper's area, which he was bloody, very bloody, in this match. Like, he bled heavily, and trust me, it's not going to be the first time you see a lot of blood on this show tonight, but, he was bleeding heavily. Matt, he ended up getting thrown, like, to the, apron then it looked like also. I know he tried to go for like the tag and everything, but I know Wheeler ended up cutting him off. I know they ended up having Matt like kind of go near his family as like his kids and them are trying to hype him up and stuff, and like Dax and Wheeler like kind of antagonizing like his family. I guess like their brother like threw a drink at them, which I said this before, and I saw the thing they did on Collision a few weeks ago. They said this guy was the younger brother of the Young Bucks, right? Like, dude, this dude looked like 50 years old, and he looked like Arn Anderson. You sure he was the younger brother to the Young Bucks, or y'all got that a little bit in reverse? Because this guy looked twice their age out here to be the younger brother of the Young Bucks. But yeah, he threw a drink at them and stuff. I know Dax ended up bleeding because he ended up going like to the turnbuckle, so he was bleeding then too. I know right after that they did like I think it was like a spike pile driver. I think which it was a kick out then. I know like the Bucks did like double suplexes over like onto the floor, which was like a pool of blood, which Nick almost slipped on too. Given how heavily he was bleeding, the Bucks end up hitting the FTR with super kicks multiple times then, and stuff, which they end up, which was it like FTR like basically came back with like a shatter machine then, but it was like a near fall, and then they had Nick with a pile driver then right after that, but Matt stopped it, or like his foot was on the ropes then. FTR ended up trying their own super kicks on the Young Bucks right after, and he hit a BTE trigger on Nick and covered him, which he immediately kicked out at one, which I'm going to get to a lot of this because this happens a lot during this show. It looks like everybody that hits like a devastating move and then like a big finisher right after, it's like someone has to kick out at one all the time. They need to like show some fighting spirit or something, but you see that in a lot of the matches throughout the night. Like I really did notice that, and this ain't the first one right here. But like the Bucks, though, they even came back with their own shatter machine then right after hitting the BTE trigger. But once again, it was like another kick out. Which I'll be honest, like later on to this match, I actually thought they were kind of getting egregious with the spots at a point in time, but especially like the amount of kickouts. But right after like what Nick did like a dive on the Stokely, which I'll say is about Stokely too. I talk about all these bald guys early in that pre-show match, but at least Stokely's trying to grow his hair back, it looks like. So there you go. The Bucks end up doing like the Meltzer driver then onto I think it was Wheeler for like the near fall. I actually thought it was gonna be over, but FTR came back with another spike pile driver onto Nick, and they hit a shatter machine and won and retained the tag titles. I was actually surprised to see FTR retain here. I actually just thought they were gonna give it to the Bucks, given it was like California. So I like the story they told here, and I was actually surprised by the finish. I'll say it's about like with FTR and the Bucks. Like at least I know it's gonna be a great match between both of these teams. Yeah, like I said earlier, I know we talk about. If you've seen one Young Bucks match, you've seen them all. You're going to a spot fest. Yeah, you could say some things were just crazy that it could have been over here and there, but overall, I thought this was a really enjoyable opener. Crowd was really hot for it. But then immediately right after FTR won, the lights went out and had the word even on there. And then it had like revenge, and then like the rated R logo showed up. Edge and Christian returned with a huge pop out there. Edge basically doing his whole pyro entrance. Christian coming from behind. Look, he sprayed something in like one of FTR's eyes, and then did the kill switch onto Daxton right after. They even beat up Stokely then and did like the kill switch before dumping him to the floor. So Edge and Christian got a huge pop. We haven't seen them since All Out, since they took out Beth Phoenix. So they've been gone for several months now. Crazy how people thought Edge and them left and thought Edge was going back to WWE to do like another match with Cena, but that obviously wasn't going to happen during his retirement run. But right after the Bucks did get in the ring and looked at Edge and Christian as they were holding the tag title. So I feel like it's going to be some type of triple threat tag team. Maybe a TLC match is going to happen or two, but I'm not really sure. But obviously the Bucks are still not out of the tag title contention right here. And Edge and Christian are back, so it makes sense for them to go after FTR because I didn't even know when they were going to be coming back, honestly. So I don't say they ever dropped the storyline, but I did wonder when were they ever going to return. Next, Toni Storm went against Marina Shafir. Everybody was going to be banned from ringside. I'm going to be honest, this match, once again, I know they've been doing stuff on Dynamite, but a lot of this must have been on Collision that I haven't noticed. The match was kind of whatever, honestly. I don't have much to say about it. Listen, Toni Storm obviously can make this look good. We know Shafir isn't the best in the ring. We know she's got like mostly like a shoot like style, like say with MMA and stuff. So she's just throwing people around most of the time and whatnot. But I know like Shafir tried to do the mother's milk onto Storm, but Toni Storm ended up biting her tits and whatnot, and then just basically hitting the inside cradle for the win. So Toni Storm won, and as she celebrated and cheered and did Snow Angels on stage, Ronda Rousey hit the ring then. Which Ronda Rousey basically like challenged Storm to come back to the ring, which Toni Storm came in and had a stare down winner with her after that. Security guards came in as they kept arguing. I guess the cameraman must have missed this, but I guess Shafir attacked Toni from behind before she got out of the ring with Rousey as they left in right after. Like the Luther and Luther and Mina Shirakawa came out then, basically to check her in right after. And as they're like headed to the back, like, Moxley's making his entrance at the same time. So let me say this about Ronda Rousey being in AEW. I don't know if she signed a contract. I don't know if it's a full-time thing. Honestly, I'm just surprised she's even back in wrestling in general, given everything she said about wrestling and not even really wanting to be back there. We know what she said about WWE. Hell, we know what she said about UFC. So I am surprised. Now, Shafir is obviously one of her greatest friends. I know they're the four horsewomen of MMA and stuff. So I gotta get why she's here. But I didn't think she'd be coming back to wrestling in general. I don't know if this is gonna be where they're just gonna have Rousey come out there and just shit all over the WWE. We've already seen her do that in podcasts already, and UFC also in recent times. I do believe that they're like kind of building off the hype because Ronda Rousey does have a fight coming up in like the next month or two, and that's going to be against Gina Carano on Netflix. If you know about that, I think it's like part of Jake Paul's, like, I don't know. It's some fight thing he has, I guess, and I'm honestly surprised that both of these women are going to be fighting. I know they haven't fought in a very long time to do this match. Listen, Rousey hasn't fought in almost over 10 years, and we saw what happened with the aftermath of that, and some people believe she just kind of lost him while she went to WWE. But she hasn't fought in 10 years. Gina Carano, she hasn't fought since 2009. I believe people said that was against Chris Cyborg, if I'm not mistaken. I would be honest, like, with Gina Carano, the most thing I really know about her was her being on the Mandalorian show on Disney like a few years ago. I didn't even really know she was an MMA fighter till like a year or two ago. So I didn't know she really did that before becoming like an actress and a stunt woman, if I'm not mistaken. like I said, the most I know about Carano is just, like I said, Mandalorian and her whole battle against Disney, which basically they kind of screwed her over and like she sued them and whatnot, which I don't blame her for going at Disney, especially after everything that happened. Go look that whole story up, if you get what I mean. Even though I will say, saying that whole thing was like, what was it, the fucking Holocaust in the election, that was really dumb, but I don't blame her for going against Disney and stuff after that. But yeah, they got a fight coming up in the next couple months, if I'm not mistaken. So I am really surprised that honestly, any of these women coming out really to come do this in general, but I'm sure it's going to be a big payday for this, which I agree with Rousey on one thing. We heard stories about this with UFC before. Yeah, they really don't be paying nobody like that. Even with this big Paramount deal, but I guess UFC's not as hot. I know they got like a White House lawn match coming up soon, so go look that whole thing up. But I think AEW is just trying to build off the hype of Rousey's upcoming return fight after a decade, basically. So we'll see what happens with that. That's going to be interesting to see. But I don't know if Rousey is under contract with AEW like that, or how long this is going to go, or if she's even with the Death Riders. I'm not honestly sure. Okay. I was genuinely surprised to see it. I'm like, damn, after all that shit Rousey talked about with wrestling and now you really want to do this anymore, you came back. But hey, a check is a check, I guess. And obviously, it's going to be, I'm sure Tony Khan, I'm looking at this, this is going to generate a lot of buzz. And it's a lot of money involved, I'm sure about. So, like I said, we know she's got a big money fight coming up. But her and AEW, and here's the thing, this ain't the first time she's been here. Rousey was on like Ring of Honor one time, like a couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken, after leaving WWE, and people thought she signed a contract. But that was a one-time thing. So I don't know if this is another one-time thing again, but we'll see. But right after Jon Moxley went against Konosuke Takeshita for the AEW Continental Championship, there was no time limit for this match. I did enjoy this match. I will say Moxley was a little bit more heelish here in this match, as people were really on Takeshita's side. Once again, I bring the whole thing about people just damn near, which once gives a lot of blood in this too, because Takeshita, Moxley hit like the stomp, like the curb stomp onto Takeshita, onto like the apron, which I like it cut near his eye and everything. He was bleeding a lot throughout this match. Like I said, it was a lot of crazy stuff in this. You know, the fans chanting AEW, but it was like Takeshita, Moxley and them going back like several punches, and then like hit with a big lariat, which Takeshita kicked out at one, which goes back to the whole hit a big devastating move and still kick out. Somehow it won. Like I said, people went crazy for this. I know Takeshita was coming back like knee strikes and whatnot, but Moxley ended up hitting like a Death Rider on him, but still like Takeshita kicked out. And then he hit like a big elevated Death Rider off the top rope, which was for a near fall kick out, which I was surprised to see. But then Moxley put him in like to a chokehold, rear naked choke, which he ended up hooking like, Takeshita's legs and arm and stuff, which Takeshita ended up passing out then, which Moxley retained. I did kind of think Takeshita was going to win this match. I know they had that whole time limit drawback in Australia, so I figured Takeshita was going to win, and I know Moxley was more heelish, but basically they set this up right here, because even right after the match, Moxley and Takeshita got up. I know he was trying to shake his hand, but Takeshita didn't want to do it and whatnot, because he didn't turn around. He shook Moxley's hand right after. Don't know if he's going to go face and everything. But the lights went out again. So we got the biggest, third surprise. We got 3 surprises in a row, folks. We got, a debut and 2 returns. A Will Ospreay video package showed up then. Basically, he's coming out like he's the Incredible Hulk and stuff. So I get now why they have Moxley still being more of a heel than him being, more of a tweener face with the Death Riders. Let's remember, the Death Riders did beat up Ospreay several months ago back at Forbidden Door, which, he's been out getting, but then again, we already knew Ospreay's neck was hurt even before. It's I didn't even understand why they even needed to do a whole injury angle when we already knew he was injured like a week or 2 beforehand, and we knew he was going to be gone for months after this. Did they need the angle? Not really, but they needed Ospreay to come back to something. So Ospreay came out with a huge pop then, going after all the Death Riders in, doing a corkscrew moonsault, which, by the way, it looked like his head almost hit the damn, apron. It looked like dude, you just came back from neck surgery, if I'm not mistaken. I swear he almost he was gonna hit his head there, but the Death Riders ended up running up out of here then after that. So like I said, Ospreay, they were the one that took him out. So yeah, that's the reason why Moxie and them are heels now fully again and stuff. But like I said, Will Ospreay is back. So a lot of people coming back on this show tonight. We definitely got a lot going on here. Right after the women's tag titles on the line, Willow and Harley versus Megan Bayne and Lena Cross. I think they're calling themselves like the Divine Dominance, if I'm not mistaken now, because Penelope Ford is hurt after nobody didn't really catch her from that moonsault, which I'm sorry, I've looked at that clip a couple times now. Nobody didn't catch her. Listen, this was basically a glorified squash match right here. They basically played into like Willow's shoulder being hurt, and they basically like a double like choke slam onto Willow and won the tag titles. So it's not much to say here. It went literally 5 minutes, okay? So they basically won the tag titles. They went off Willow's injury from earlier, so it is what it is. I figured like sooner or later, like Megan Bayne, well, like I said, she got a new tag partner now since Penelope is hurt. But like I said, they got a new tag, so they won the titles in basically dominant fashion. Right after that, Swerve went against Brody King. Swerve with the Candyman entrance. I didn't know what that entrance was at first, but like I said, it's the Candyman if you've seen the movie. He went against Brody King. I know they had some fuck ice chants out there. This match was very brutal. Surprisingly, with no blood too, which they could be brutal without the blood. But I will say this because I know they went to the outside. Then Swerve took up the mat from the floor, putting it up. Basically hitting a damn gringo killer onto the floor, then threw him back into the ring, like hit a power bomb like on the apron, and did the Swerve stomp. And for some reason, he can kick out at one. Even I'm like, that's damn near like a freaking injury angle when you really look at it. Damn near with him doing that. Honestly, they just should have like. I think Swerve probably could have won. Like, did they need a kick out? Like, you just did a gringo killer on the floor, hit your finisher, and powerbomb into the apron. Probably should have been over after that. Like, Swerve was just very dominant. This went like 15 minutes, but he basically like hit him with a kick, and I know Brody was staying on his feet. He tried to go after Swerve, but Swerve had like 2 house call kicks on him for the win. So, yeah, he basically killed Brody King, and then they, were going to use a cinder block and stuff, but Kenny Omega returned now. He's been at Capcom for the past month. Honestly, I didn't know if he was really hurt again in that. I just thought he'd been hanging around Capcom because he's a Street Fighter now, and getting copies of Resident Evil 9. I need to play that game, but obviously Omega's still going after Swerve. Like I said, a lot of people coming back right now. A lot of healthy guys. You got the roster can be very stacked because you got a lot of top people back in this company. You got Ospreay back. You got Omega back. You got Edge and Christian back. So you really bring a lot of people back tonight, and that's really good. Now, this is where I feel like the show started to fatigue to me a little bit because, once again, it's another thing where this was on Collision. I didn't know this match was happening, but we did have Tekla versus Chris Statlander in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the AEW Women's Championship. I thought the crowd was a little bit dead from here, and basically this match played out like the last match they had, honestly. Like, everything about it, like, when you look at it. But, like, as this match went on, Tekla, she got, like, the first fall. Basically, like, holding on to, like, the bottom rope, bridging Statlander. So Tekla won the first fall. Statlander basically came back with her, I think she got the second one, basically hitting like her finisher, Saturday Night Fever and whatnot, after like dodging up Tekla's like submission hold. So she got the second win. And then basically kind of right after, it was a ref bumped in, and then you had like the triangle, Sky Blue and wow, I can't believe Julia Hart come out and basically attack her. Then Tekla trying to like use the title belt and stealth and all that, but like she, Statlander's already getting like distracted. She ended up fighting back then, but Tekla ended up, distracted Statlander, ended up hitting like 2 stomps then right after. Basically like how she won the title anyway, so not much I could say from this. Like the crowd was in this match, but like I said, you could tell they were kind of fatigued after all these returns and big things happening back to back to back. But Tekla win. I'm not surprised she still retained the title. I just didn't know much of this feud was going on because, once again, I don't really watch Collision like that. But yes, Tekla beat Stat right after. Next, which honestly, here's another thing too. I do feel like, once again, when it comes to AEW pay-per-views, there's too many matches, and you don't really need all these matches because I feel like some of these things didn't need to be on the card. Because the next match we even had was a 6-man tag match for the AEW 6-man tag titles. Okada, Fletcher, and Mark Davis, the Don Callis family, all having Letterman jackets, by the way, matching. I hope no role for Okada tonight. versus Mystico. I had no idea what CMLL title I think he had. It was like the light heavyweight one. And Jet Speed for the like I said, for the 6-man tag titles. Honestly, I'm actually surprised they even had a title change here. I really did. I did like Mystico, like, and like Jet Speed matching with the mask and all that stuff. I did think that was pretty cool. But I really don't know why they needed this match on the card. Like, I really don't know why they needed it. They could have saved this for like not even the pay-per-view, just for like Dynamite or something. But the crowd is what was with Mystico, though. I will say that. I am surprised that they had like another title change. Like, didn't these guys just win like these 6-man tag titles like a couple weeks ago? Cause I was like, no, it's Mark Davis, and now like he's getting pinned by Kevin Knight. Obviously had a big frog splash, the UFO thing, I believe, which got some hang time, which was really cool, by the way, too. But like I said, Mystico and them won the 6. We got another double champion, folks. Let's remember that, too. Another double champion. It's like first Okada and Fletcher were double champions. Now Mystico is a double champion. And I guess Jet Speed's like, okay, we're done with Hangman, so we moved on to the next tag partner now. So I did not really expect a title change right here. And then even right after, as the pyro went off for Mystico, Mystico, I guess, is now signed with AEW. I know we've seen Mystico multiple times with AEW now on this show, given their partnership with CMLL. I know about the feud with MJF and stuff, but now he has a full-time contract, so he will be working for AEW. So I guess we're going to be seeing him more on AEW television now. But like I said, title match I didn't expect, but once again, I didn't think it needed to be on the card. Next was Bandito versus Andrade. I enjoyed this match. And this is another match I will say woke the crowd up again, too, and got a pop. Okay, even with the whole tearaway pants on, people pop for that. Andrade at this point basically has like Garza's old gimmick, back in WWE a few years ago, or even in TNA, too, basically just being like the ladies' man, or like an Eddie Guerrero type of thing out there, even though it's just a bunch of OnlyFans models they have for Andrade, because we saw at least like 2 of them. At least these 2 look like they knew what was going on, because like the first batch they had basically did not know what they were doing, basically just called it fake also, which didn't help. But like I said, like that's basically Andrade's gimmick. Just in, like, the women are just gonna fawn over him and basically like getting their number and taking selfies. But hey, you getting hoes, niggas, so that's what's up. Especially after being divorced too, that helps also. I know fans chanted what, fuck Don Callis, fuck Ice 2. That was pretty funny. Like I said, I enjoyed this match a lot. Bandito doing that 21 plex even when Andrade was on the ground was pretty crazy. I did enjoy that. I don't even like the whole Three Amigos thing with Andrade going for it, but then like Bandito coming back with like almost like his own Three Amigos, but with like German suplexes and stuff, which was pretty crazy. I know it ended up with, even at like the whole 21 plex thing, like Andrade came back with like his back elbow shot. Bandito was trying to, do like another 21 plex thing, like from off the floor, but like Bandito, he hit like a GTS 10 and tried to go for another 21 plex, but Andrade landed on his feet then, hit the back elbow right after that, and then hit his finisher then for the win. So Andrade got the win. Great match. I enjoyed this. Like, this is what I actually really did enjoy here. Like I said, I liked it. Some say it was like a lot of Lucha Libre fans out there tonight, so they really were into this match. So I thought this really woke the crowd up big time. The next match after that, which once again, this probably could have been on Dynamite. And honestly, I don't think these guys should be losing right now, given like this is like a pay-per-view debut. It's what, the Bullet Club War Dogs of David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, and Clark Connors versus Darby Allin, The Pocket, and Roderick Strong out here. Honestly, I don't think that the Bullet Club War Dogs need to lose here. This match could have easily been on Dynamite. It wasn't bad, but I don't think the Dogs should be losing on their like first big pay-per-view match. I think they won on Wednesday, but given it's like it's Dave Finlay's like pay-per-view debut, I think they could have went over right here. I know they had like Gabe Kidd tied up to like the, what was it? I'm trying to remember what he was tied up to. I think he was like tied up to the stage or something. Darby tied him up in. Yeah, he was tied up to something. No, I just know they had like what was it? The Pocket there beat Clark Connors. So yeah, Don't know how good that really makes Bullet Club War Dogs look good right now, given like a pay-per-view loss right here. So I guess I have a friend talking to me about this too. It says basically AEW's damn near kind of all-star team, especially when it comes to Darby and Cassidy there. So I guess I don't know, but I guess it's gonna be some one-on-one with Darby and some form of the Bullet Club War Dogs, maybe against David Finlay next. I don't know. This match could have been on Dynamite, honestly. We did move on to the main event, though. The AEW World title on the line, MJF versus Hangman Page in a Texas death match. I know they had Hangman with like a trumpet doing like his entrance. Basically another Red Dead Redemption thing kind of going on. And it was like an MJF video package with a horse riding on into town. Basically pissing on a grave for Hangman Page. Basically what was it, taking a leak and whatnot. But he basically came out like Terry Funk in with the gear, which I thought was pretty cool. Honestly, I did not think this needed to be a Texas death match. I guess because it's Hangman, that's the reason why they doing it. But I knew this was gonna be ridiculous. It did end up being ridiculous, and trust me, we'll get to a lot of ridiculous spots. What I expected to be in a Texas death match and how this was gonna go. Like I said, Tony Books for the sickos right here. Honestly, I thought this was damn near a CZW match, given what was going on. And trust me, let's get to the ridiculousness of this whole thing, okay? Because, MJF even having the announcer tell him that he's not from a piece of shit town like Los Angeles. MJF going over the barricade, Page following him. They fought off to the fighting into the crowd till they fought back there at the end. A fan. I know he ended up handing Page a beer, which Page, slammed the beer onto like MJF then. Hangman basically threw MJF and like to the steps, took another shot from a fan and stuff. Got him into the ring. Basically, he was chasing me with a trash can lid, which he ran around like it was a Looney Tunes cartoon and just ended up hitting him with the trash can. Even getting a staple gun, because this, what a ridiculous comes in. Even had a birthday card. I guess it's MJF's birthday also. So he ended up having a staple gun to his chest with like a happy birthday card on it and stuff, and then yanked it off. And whatnot, even like flipping off like what he do? I think MJF flipped off the crowd right after, because then it was like a door for some reason, like a window pane door, and he says, "I'm not doing this indie bullshit," which obviously he ended up doing it anyways. But it was like a glass door, like window, which he slammed in the middle of the ring. So now there's glass everywhere. Then, and Hangman ended up putting MJF onto the glass, then dragging him around it and stuff. And then it was like a barbed wire board then he had after that. And like tried to hit MJF then. MJF is like bleeding from his forehead then. So like from the glass, but MJF had like a slice of like a shard of glass and sliced Hangman's head then right after, and even took a broom and wiped the glass onto the ground to the outside so he didn't have the glass in the ring anymore. And then like what Page what was I think it's one of the stupidest things ever, and I think I've seen this when I was there live, but they basically had like a what was it? A syringe needle or something. I know they did this back when it was like Hangman versus Swerve, but Page ended up using the needle and basically jammed it through Hangman's cheek, where you could see the needle go through it. It didn't squirt whatever liquid was in it. So like, why did they have these liquids in there? I have no idea what's the reason with that, but they did that whole crazy shtick then right after, and what else? Like more glass. I think they were kind of rolling around in. Hangman hit like try to go for like a dead eye onto like the barbed wire chair. By the way, it's a Texas death match. You got to win by like about 10 counts, like a last man standing thing. Page ended up hitting like Hangman with like the barbed wire chair then right after. MJF's crying out in agony then, and then what was it like? Like it was like another bar. I'm trying to remember everything. It's like a lot of crazy stuff in this match, but Hangman tried to repeat the dead eye to like another table off the floor, but MJF blocked it and like hit up like a tombstone pile driver onto the table to the outside to the floor then, which was pretty crazy. Both guys started throwing punches then right after. Hangman going for like the buckshot lariat then, but MJF got out of there and thumbed him in the eye then. Tried to say like several elbows then right after, but I know they were on the apron again, and then like MJF threw Hangman to the table to the outside then. So that happened. my God, like I said, this match was like 45 minutes, by the way, too. So this went on for a while. Hangman got some skewers. He jabbed it into MJF's head and then hit a buckshot lariat. I actually thought it was over after this, but he did that then, but he still got up by 10. I'm be honest, I'm almost surprised he didn't pull out like another barbed wire nail thing, bed thing. I thought that was gonna happen. Hangman a dog collared in and then tied it on the MJF's neck, and it tied it to his own neck for some reason. So I guess he couldn't get rid of, since that's what Hangman does all the time, get the dog collar, which even MJF was like, oh no, not again, and tried to get away from there. I guess he remember his match with Punk. But Hangman basically was chasing MJF all the way up to like the stage then. Even like was trying to light up a table too, and I know he wanted to use fire, but that didn't happen. So anybody got a lighter, but MJF ended up like using like the chain thing, hitting Hangman Page with it then, and then they fought up to the stage for some reason. Like they tried to like go off the stage, but it didn't happen. Hangman used like some light tubes then. We got light tubes, folks. Like I said, this is basically CZW territory, which Hangman hit MJF in the back with it, which you can still see the glass embedded into his back and hitting him off the head with it then. And then they fought off the stage, then do like a belly-to-belly suplex, which a lot of pyro blew up then. Both end up getting up before the 10 count. Hangman basically dog-walked MJF to the ring then, setting up on like another buckshot lariat, but MJF kicked him in the nuts then right after. He went and got the title belt and hit him with it, but still a 9 count right after. Hangman fought back and even hit MJF with the title belt. It was going to go for a buckshot. But I guess I didn't see it. It must have happened so fast. But MJF ended up hitting Hangman with like his dynamite diamond ring then. And then hung Hangman Page onto like the, basically how Hangman Page won the world title back at All In. With Moxley, hung him and stuff, and then dropped him to the ground in glass. It was the 10 count right after, and boom, there you go. MJF still retains the world title, and even they were trying to stretcher Hangman out, MJF ended up standing on top of the stretcher and, just holding up the world title then, basically celebrating right after. But yeah, that was the end of the match, and it went 45 minutes. Honestly, I can't be too surprised what happened right here. Like I said, I didn't need to think this needed to be a Texas death match. Some are gonna say, well, this is all ECW this. I'm like, dude, this is more CZW than ECW. Or some are not gonna try to bring up like, well, let's look at Mick Foley versus Terry Funk. Is that in the same level? If you want to debate that could be debatable. I don't think so. Like I said, I didn't think this match needed to be a Texas death match. I don't think it did it, but they did it just because. And obviously, like I said, Tony's booking for the sickos right here. But I'm surprised this went 46 minutes. Like, this show didn't go off till, like, 11:30 my time, I think. Listen, this is an AEW pay-per-view, okay? It's going to be, like, 15 matches on this show. So expect to see a lot of matches, okay? And I mean a lot of matches. But did I really think half the spots need to be in this match? No. Like I said, I'm almost surprised they didn't bring out another bed of nails and whatnot. Like, I get it's a Texas death match, but it gets to the point, it's like, how ridiculous can it get to you really think this match actually ends, from light tubes to syringes to whatever, barbed wire boards, exploding pyro, light tubes? I don't know. It was getting ridiculous after a while. So I already knew what I expected going into this, but MJF retained, so obviously now he will move on to the next thing. Hangman, I don't know where this goes on with him after this. Don't even really know. Can't see I don't even really care to some extent too, but we'll see what happens. But obviously, it's the insanity of this match, which people are going to buy into. One last thing before I do go, and I noticed this throughout the entire night of this entire pay-per-view, and I guess AEW is doing this as a new thing, but we don't need to put camera shots on the crowd almost every 5 minutes in every match of this show. I swear, through every match throughout the entire night. And I know some say with the Twitter thing too, they do is like bots, but WWE does the same thing also. But the fact that you got to keep putting the crowd shots on people every 5 minutes to get a reaction, and at the time the crowd is literally can see themselves on the screen and damn near just being like, oh look, I'm on the screen and whatnot. It's like they're happy to see themselves, even though you're trying to get reaction like shots from them. You don't need to do it every 5 minutes. That was getting real annoying. That was like throughout the entire night of this pay-per-view. I guess that's a new thing they're doing, but they really should minimalize that when it's needed. Don't do it every 5 minutes. That's just ridiculous. Overall, this pay-per-view, I think it was really, honestly, I think this show was really big. I think it really started hot in the beginning. We had multiple returns and debuts throughout this night. Like I said, we got the return of Edge and Christian. Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, and the debut, I guess they somewhat re-debut, but official debut of Ronda Rousey in AEW. Obviously, we had some title changes here throughout tonight. Obviously, new women's tag champions and new six-man tag champions. I thought Andrade and Bandito was a great match. The Texas Death Match, you can take what you want from it, whether you thought it was greater than that. Like I said, I thought it was ridiculous, so take how you want that in the main event. Um, like I said, it was a lot of hot matches. Like I said, the crowd was really hot throughout the night. I think these six-man matches didn't really need to be on the show between the six-man tag titles and like the War Dogs versus Darby and them. That could have been on Dynamite. I think they could have axed a couple matches here. But like I said, this is AEW, so expect these matches to go super duper long, and that's what happened. Especially if you count the pre-show too. So there you go. But yeah, that's what I got to say about AEW Revolution. But other than that, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, HoodTheKnight890. We out here. See you guys later. Peace and happy 316 day, folks. Give me a hell yeah. So we out of here and peace.